Hare Krishna, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After a long legal battle of almost 25 years, the Supreme Court delivered its verdict on 16th of May 2025, ruling that the Bangalore Hare Krishna Hill temple belonged to ISKCON Bangalore. This dealt a killer blow to the Machiavellian attempts of the GBC of ISKCON Mumbai to annihilate the truth of their unauthorized guru system and to hound the devotees of ISKCON Bangalore out of the movement. This made ISKCON Mumbai Group's GBC desperate to somehow keep the court case going so that they can justify to their followers that very soon they will be victorious and get the Bangalore temple under their control. Keep dangling the carrot in front of their supporters so that they could keep egging them on their path of blind faith. Usurping the Bangalore temple for ISKCON Mumbai Group's GBC was to serve them two purposes. One was to use it as a vindication of their unauthorized guru system. If they could manage to hijack the temple, they could tell all the followers that their guru system was right, and that is why they got it back. The second purpose was to exterminate all opposition to their unauthorized guru system by evicting all the devotees from the Bangalore temple. Their desperation resulted in their filing a review petition before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, after hearing ISKCON Mumbai Group's advocate on this matter on 3rd December 2025, issued notice to ISKCON Bangalore. This is part of the natural process. The Supreme Court said that it would again convene in the third week of January 2026 to then decide whether to admit the review petition or not. Jumping the gun, ISKCON Mumbai's GBC unscrupulously flooded the media with misleading statements that the Supreme Court had agreed to revisit the entire case. The GBC knew they were lying through their teeth, but who would question them anyway? In their official statement issued on 3rd December, immediately after the Supreme Court issued notice, ISKCON Mumbai Group's GBC said, after the temple complex was opened in 1997 and it began flourishing, Madhu Pandit Das, his co-brother Chanchalapathi Das, their wives and close associates began engaging in activities contrary to the teachings of ISKCON. Upon being reprimanded and failing to get what they desired, they filed the current case against ISKCON India by fraudulently claiming to be president of an independent ISKCON Karnataka society and by using the similarity in names of the two societies falsely and fraudulently claimed the ownership of the Bangalore temple. The GBC accused His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu of engaging in activities quote-unquote contrary to the teachings of ISKCON. According to them, they only quote-unquote reprimanded His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu for this transgression. Not being able to get what he desired, they say he went to court. Very craftily, this statement by ISKCON Mumbai's GBC makes only vague assertions without divulging the truth, deliberately intending to make it appear as if His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu had gone rogue. Now, what were the activities of Madhu Pandit Prabhu contrary to the teachings of ISKCON? In what way did the GBC reprimand His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu? What was it that he desired which he did not get, because of which he went to court? That has been carefully concealed by ISKCON Mumbai Group's GBC. If we want the truth, if we want to know the answer to all these questions, then we must go back in history and look at ISKCON Mumbai Group's GBC's resolution numbers 301 and 302 of the year 1999. The relevant portion of Resolution 301, titled Resolutions Concerning the Doctrine of Ritvikism, states, whereas a number of devotees in and around ISKCON, some of whom hold positions in ISKCON as managerial and spiritual authorities, have begun again to practice and preach a refurbished version of Ritvikism. And whereas the GBC body has again carefully examined the case for Ritvikism as currently presented, having had representatives meet at various times and places with its advocates to hear them make their case, and has, as a body sitting in plenary session on 9th February 1999, carefully heard the case personally advocated by Adridharan Prabhu, President of Calcutta Temple, Satvik Prabhu, Vice President of Calcutta Temple, and Madhu Pandit Prabhu, President of Bangalore Temple. And whereas the GBC body has given the current versions of Ritvikism careful attention and all due deliberation to the best of its ability, be it hereby resolved that, number 1, the GBC body states that it finds the arguments for Ritvikism as represented to it by Madhu Pandit Das and other of his associates and as preached by them around the world to be erroneous in its conclusion as well as specious and sophistical in its conduct. The case for Ritvikism is false and duplicitous in its method of procedure and in its selection and use of evidence. It depends heavily on speculation and word jugglery. It presents its radical and speculative departures from the consistent teachings of Srila Prabhupada, his predecessor Acharyas, Srila Vyasadeva, and the Lord himself under the name of tradition and no change. The effect of these arguments is only to bewilder, delude, and misguide innocent devotees from the teachings set forth by Krishna and upheld without exception by all Vaishnava Acharyas. So, according to this resolution of the GBC, telling anyone to obey Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order will bewilder, delude, and misguide the devotees. Can you imagine that? That's what it thinks of Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order. So, the statement of the GBC on 3rd December 2025 that they found His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu engaged in activities contrary to the teachings of ISKCON is actually what? It is referring to his making a presentation along with other senior Vaishnavas to the GBC body saying that we must obey the July 9th order of Srila Prabhupada. Obeying the July 9th order of Srila Prabhupada, according to the GBC of ISKCON Mumbai group, constitutes engaging in activities contrary to the teachings of ISKCON. But what are the teachings of ISKCON? ISKCON teaches that the third offense to the holy name is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. So how does the demand of His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu that the GBC not disobey the July 9th order of Srila Prabhupada constitute activity contrary to the teachings of ISKCON? ISKCON's teachings don't say that some orders of the spiritual master must be obeyed and others disobeyed. It says that disobeying any order, disobeying even one order of the spiritual master is an offense. And the GBC claims that His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu, following that fundamental teaching of ISKCON, is against the teaching of ISKCON. Wow! What a volte-face by the GBC. Well, now you know what the activities contrary to the teachings of ISKCON were, and what was the desire of His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu to obey the July 9th order of Srila Prabhupada. Now, what was the reprimand issued by the GBC? That comes in resolution number 302 of 1999, which was made into an ISKCON law. Titled Enforcement of ISKCON Law Regarding Ritvikism, the relevant portion of resolution 302 of 1999 under subsection 4b reads, in consideration of the above findings, the individuals Adridharan Das, Satvik Das, Madhu Pandit Das, Chanchalapathi Das, and Navayogendra Swami, as above listed, being members of ISKCON India, are hereby deemed as unfit to be members of ISKCON India. This shall take effect after 31 March 1999, unless the Executive Committee of the GBC body deems them rectified sufficiently to remain as ISKCON members and issues a written statement to that effect. Subsection 4c. The GBC body, by a 2/3 vote in accordance with GBC rules of order, empowers the GBC Executive Committee to censure, put on probation, suspend, or expel from ISKCON and its affiliates the above-mentioned 7 devotees, both as members and as officers, as it deems appropriate and warranted without the necessity of further authorization from the GBC body. The act of the Executive Committee in this regard shall carry the same effect and power as if taken by the whole governing body commission. So, that was the reprimanding action of the GBC. What was that? To expel the devotees. According to the dictionary, reprimand means just a sharp criticism or censure. That's all. But strangely, it appears that in the GBC's lexicon, reprimand means expulsion. Anyway, let us read the GBC's 3rd December statement once again. After the temple complex was opened in 1997 and it began flourishing, Madhu Pandit Das, his co-brother Chanchalapathi Das, their wives and their close associates began engaging in activities contrary to the teachings of ISKCON. Contrary to the teachings of ISKCON meaning, His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu and other devotees of ISKCON Bangalore wanted to obey the July 9th order of Srila Prabhupada. Upon being reprimanded, meaning upon being expelled. Upon being expelled and failing to get what they desired, meaning failing to get the GBC to obey Srila Prabhupada's order, they filed the current case against ISKCON India by fraudulently claiming to be president of an independent ISKCON Karnataka society and by misusing the similarity in names of the two societies, falsely and fraudulently claimed the ownership of the Bangalore temple. Meaning, what the Supreme Court decided on 16th May 2025, that there is no case of fraud, according to the GBC, the Supreme Court is wrong. The GBC is now passing a judgment on the Supreme Court also. Now you please tell us, the GBC expelled His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu and other devotees in 1999 for wanting to obey Srila Prabhupada, and now in 2025, they are presenting it as being reprimanded for engaging in activities contrary to ISKCON teachings. Now, how do we describe this nefarious action of the GBC of ISKCON Mumbai group? You please tell us how to describe the GBC's statement on 3rd December 2025. To make it easier for you, we will give you 5 options, from which you can choose one of them. Option 1 to describe the 3rd GBC 2025 statement is outrageously diabolical. Option number 2, disgustingly Machiavellian. Option number 3, incorrigibly dishonest. Option number 4, treacherously deceptive. Option number 5, perniciously unscrupulous. Please let us know your choice of description from one of these 5 options for ISKCON Mumbai GBC's 3rd December statement by writing it down in the comments section below. We will be honored to have your comments. Coming back to our discussion, what begs the question is the July 9th order so crucial that His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu had to go to court upon this expulsion? He could have apologized to the GBC and continued in ISKCON, isn't it? Actually, after the inauguration of the Bangalore temple in 1997, His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu had become a superstar in ISKCON. Undeniably, his stature and reputation were tremendously high in 1999. Already 1 foot of his was in the GBC body. A few more years and he would have become a GBC. And in a little more time, he would have become a Diksha Guru in ISKCON. If His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu had chosen to toe the line of the GBC in 1999, by now, by 2025, he would already have been a Diksha Guru for several years. By desiring to obey one order of Srila Prabhupada, he put at stake all his hard work, position, reputation and future in ISKCON. In fact, he put his very existence in ISKCON in peril. For what? For just one order of Srila Prabhupada? Was it that important? Well, let us try to understand that. Suppose a very rich businessman, let us say he is on his deathbed. He calls all his children and asks them to seek any directions they need from him before his passing away. His children discuss and come up with a few questions for him. He then gives them his direction in writing, and 4 months after that, he passes away. The children notice that the final direction he gave them were not in line with what he had said some years prior to it. Now, what should the children do? Should they go by what he had said earlier? Or should they go by his final order? It is plain common sense that a person may say a billion things during his lifetime, but what he says during his last days assume far greater importance than everything else he has said till then. Dying declarations in this world are considered to be of utmost significance, of paramount importance, and override everything else the person said during his life. This is understood by everyone in this world. A person with even average intelligence, you need not be of very high IQ, even average intelligence, you can appreciate the importance of the last words of a person. They carry enormous significance because when a person is on the verge of passing away, whatever he orders or wills is what is on the top of his mind or what he considers most crucial, of paramount importance. Hence, such an order or will assumes tremendous significance. Now, if we look at what happened in 1977, Srila Prabhupada said on 22nd May that it is better to prepare for the worst and summoned all the GBCs to Vrindavan and asked them to come up with questions for the future. So, on 28th May, the GBCs met, discussed, drew up 5 questions, out of which 2 questions pertain to initiations after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. And Srila Prabhupada responded that he would appoint Ritviks, and subsequently, on 9th July, Srila Prabhupada issued the order to implement Ritvik system of initiations in ISKCON. 4 months later, Srila Prabhupada entered Maha Samadhi on 14th November. So you see, although Srila Prabhupada might have said many things in the earlier years, when he was specifically asked for his order on initiations in the future, when Srila Prabhupada was about to disappear, at that time, when this question was put to Srila Prabhupada, knowing very well the significance of that question, expressed his order through the July 9th directive just 4 months before he disappeared. Now, isn't that immensely significant? Isn't that order which our Guru Maharaj gave just before he disappeared, knowing very well that these were his last days, weren't those words monumentally consequential? Isn't that July 9th order of Srila Prabhupada of paramount importance? How can anyone even dream of disobeying what Srila Prabhupada expressed as his last will? Isn't it brazenly insolent to disobey this final order from Srila Prabhupada? As it is, our Siddhanta is that disobedience of Guru's order is an offense to the holy name itself. On top of that, disobedience to the Guru's order given in his final days when he is about to pass away, how much greater an offense is that? No wonder that His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu disregarded all the personal loss that he would suffer and put his entire future in ISKCON at risk simply to obey that final order of Srila Prabhupada. In fact, ever since His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu took up cudgels against the unauthorized Guru system in ISKCON, the GBC of ISKCON Mumbai group has offered him at least 3 times. Yes, that is right. 3 times they offered to make him Diksha Guru if he disobeyed Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order like them. But His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu did not budge even a millimeter. As a result, today ISKCON Bangalore has grown from one temple with 40 full-time devotees in 1999 to more than 50 centers bustling with devotees, with more than 1,500 full-time devotees, more than 3,000 initiated congregation devotees, and many thousand more serious devotees. And so, the GBC is feeling the heat. Their unauthorized Guru system is under serious threat. Hence, they are resorting to such despicable gimmicks to malign His Grace Madhu Pandit Prabhu so that their personal ambition to enjoy power and followers, their avarice to enjoy dhanam and janam remains secure. So please do not be carried away by ISKCON Mumbai GBC's shenanigans. The uncomfortable truth for ISKCON Mumbai GBC is that their unauthorized Guru system is stopping our parampara. Their unauthorized Guru system is against Shastra. Their unauthorized Guru system is against all tradition. Their unauthorized Guru system has never been followed by any previous Acharya or Sampradaya. Hence, let us firmly obey Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order the Ritvik system of initiations and remain strongly rooted in ISKCON's original teachings, solidly anchored to our parampara, deeply entrenched in the Shastras, and be perfectly in sync with tradition. Hare Krishna, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.